New skins, new maps, the battle pass is being added to Divine Knockout, as well as so many god changes. The whole game is going to get reworked. I can't wait to get into this patch with you guys. It's called the Blazing Bifrost update, so let's get straight to that. We're first going to touch on the magnificent legendary skin that is being added to Ymir. It's the Fire Giant skin, the Magmir skin. Ymir is no longer about the frost, he's the king of fire. Just look at this amazing skin right here. All his animations have also been updated since it's a legendary skin. On top of that, he has this beautiful flowing fiery beard. His skin looks like molten rock. It's amazing. With that, we're also getting a new map, the Fiery Furnace. Now, this map is actually the map you saw in the Loki cinematic. Apparently, it was supposed to be released with Loki. However, it wasn't fully completed, so we're getting it in this next patch. By the way, this patch, they don't have an exact date, but I'm expecting it to actually come out next week. With this Fiery Furnace, it looks cool. They shoot bombs out of the map, which is another thing you have to pay attention to. It makes for a very good 3v3 map. Now, the new feature we want to know, it may not be ranked, but we're getting a new feature, which is the Event Pass. And let me tell you right now, the Event Pass is free to everybody playing Divine Knockout. That's right. You heard it, it's free. You don't have to pay for it with Ruins, but this is only temporary as we're still in the founder season. So as a gift to us, they gave us the opportunity to get the Event Pass for free. So let me get into the details. They said that the Blazing Bifrost Event Pass is here. To mark the start of our new season, players can progress through the Event Pass to unlock some red hot cosmetics and currencies. Did we mention at the very first Event Pass will be giving players a premium upgrade for free? All awards from the tiers are absolutely free to everybody. Here's a list of the highlighted rewards you can unlock. Please note that there are additional XP boosters, stars, and ruins to also be unlocked. The instant unlock with this comes with the Bifrost Shatter Knockout FX. It looks pretty cool as you can see here on screen. Next up, now this is my favorite part, cosmetic banner for Magmir. It just looks so cool with the fire sprites in the background and you can see him with his hammer coming at you to smash anything. In tier 1, we're also going to get the Blazing Flame avatar. I won't use this, but it is nice to add to my collection. Now this year I will use the fire sprite emote. I'm going to obviously have it equipped on Ymir, but I'm going to put it on some other characters as well. I would say this would be my second favorite emote as Zeus is the best one in the game. And then we're getting the Frost Fire Seal card. This is pretty okay. I'm not going to equip it, but I do like how it looks. We will also be getting a new creator, the Flame Emblem, and I'm going to put this on all my characters. It just looks magnificent. We get a title called the Fire Lord title. I mean, it fits in so perfectly. And then obviously the Magmir skin as the last part of the battle pass. So everybody has a chance to obtain this and it's going to be great. You literally just play the game and you'll gain XP for the battle pass. You gain 50% Lex XP if you do it against AIs. Me personally, I play Divine Knockout so much, I'm probably going to be unlocking this maybe within the week, maybe within the second week. Who knows? I'm not really rushing it, but I will say I love this fire skin. It's amazing. Now they need to do an ice skin for Saul. This next part is very important. It's one of the biggest updates coming to Divine Knockout and actually changed the way you play all your different characters in the game. So pay close attention to this. We're updating the features for God Pass and Lesser Blessings. We made major adjustments to the progression in Divine Knockout. We adjusted the God Pass experience required for players to progress faster within the track. Unlocking the gameplay progression earlier, we are lowering the XP required for the God Pass by roughly 30%. That's pretty cool, but at the same time, I get it, but I just don't feel like it was really necessary. So this is a 50-50 for me. That's my personal opinion. However, Divine traits and greater blessings have now been moved to earlier in the God Pass progression tracks. That's nice top point. It really depends on the player, I guess. I mean, just because I grinded it out, I probably have a biased stance on this, but I understand for newer players, this will be a lot better. Now for Lesser Blessings, they have been removed from the game. That's right, Lesser Blessings are no longer in the game when this patch goes live. They said it will allow them to do more interesting traits for characters in the future and more info will come out very soon. So it's still a work in progress. Obviously, when they put this patch out, they may revert it back or add something new as time goes along. Remember, this is the founder season, guys. So that's something to keep in mind. Things are going to constantly be changing. With that being said, I can't give you guys a full opinion on this system yet because I haven't tested out what they're going to replace it with. So when I test it out, then I can give you guys a hint of what I think about it. But I think so far the Divine Knockout team seems to understand what they're doing more or less. So it's just going to be me going, okay, is this system better? Why is it better? And what can they do to improve the new system that they're going to be added? As new information comes out, I will make a video to keep you guys updated. This next new feature they're adding is called map rotations. So every 2 weeks, there will be a map rotation for 3v3, 2v2, and 1v1 queues. You can find these rotation lists on Divine Knockout's official social medias. As you can see here on screen, this will be the first 2 weeks rotations sections right here for 3v3, and then you have here the ones for 2v2 and 1v1. It's nice. So once in a while, let's say you have a map that you really don't want and it's not in rotation, it's going to make you happy. However, they can't put a map that you really don't like, and guess what? It's going to be here and you're going to be stuck with it for the next 2 weeks along with another set of maps. Now, this part here is the big thing. Everybody wants to know the god balances. And of course, I'm going to give you guys a hint right now. Loki is being nerfed. Take that in mind. Loki will be nerfed here. Small nerf and more nerfs probably to come. So let's get into that right now. We're going to start off with Amaterasu. So Amaterasu's divine trait switching strike was disabled since it was leading to a spike of power and unbalanced situations. We wanted to design a new talent to replace switching strikes, returning to the 3 selectable divine traits on Amaterasu. So they said here, switching strikes has been replaced by a new talent called Blade's Edge. So Blade Edge allows for the attack after uppercut to gain an additional 10% ultimate charge. If it is an air light second hit, of course, or reduces a cooldown by the 2 seconds if it's an air heavy. Next up, we have King Arthur. Now, King Arthur received some love in this patch. We want to make the tracking, warping, and hitboxes of his attacks consistent with the other gods' metrics, since they were slightly shorter. In addition, we make the ability to projectile harder to avoid for opponents, since it was easily avoidable compared to other projectiles in the game. I could see that. So they updated the tracking, warping, and hitbox sizes of all his attacks, increased projectile speed of Soaring Edge by 20% to increase skill check. Now, okay, that's pretty nice. I'm going to see how it goes in game. Next up, we have the big boy himself, Loki. Loki has been a great god release, but we hear your voices and we want to adjust them in this patch. We want to provide more awareness to opponents about Loki's stealth activation in order to exactly know when he enters his stealth, even if you're not looking at him. So you're going to need to have your sound on, guys. Next to this addition, we want to make a balance to the cooldowns of his acrobatic vault, since it was obtained too fast, leading to him having a lot of aerial combos. Empowered attacks lead to power spikes thanks to his huge tracking distance and damage. We wanted to balance him to bring these more in lines with the other gods and more balanced stats. Loki's damage potential was very high due to various combos. We nerfed his damage in several parts of his kit to spread the nerf and keep abilities and talents interesting. This also includes reducing the damage potential and making the ultimate more avoidable for opponents, since it was more punishing than other ultimate abilities. I mean, that's pretty fair, so let's see what they did. So what they did was they integrated a specific SFX of a laugh or another sound in line with his stealth fantasy. That has to be very recognizable and unique. It has to be heard from very close and medium to far distances from opponents to be aware that his stealth activation. This is actually pretty nice. I think it's nice for them to add to the game. They also, for Acrobatic Vault, increased the cooldown from 17 seconds to 20 seconds. Obscuring Daggers reduced damage from 12 to 10. Explosive Me added a 0.1 on the charging phase to force Loki to wait more time before the ult is fully charged, providing also more time to refire, adding 0.1 seconds on the pre-fire of the explosion to give more reaction time to the opponents to dodge/avoid the explosion. Reduce the damage bracket of the ultimate from 20 to 30 to 17 to 25 to be more in line with other gods' ultimate damage. I like that. I like that a lot. Reduced ultimate charge rate by 8%, same as Sun Wukong and King Arthur. Empowered Airlight reduced warp distance from 9 meters to 8 meters. This is one of the things I agree they needed to reduce. Reduce the velocity of the warping to reduce the snappy feeling of his attacks, provide more time to react for opponents, reduce the damage from 16 to 12. Empowered air heavy attacks reduce the velocity of the warping to reduce the snappy feeling of attacks and provide more time to react for opponents, reduce the damage from 16 to 14. And for his talents, Effect Seeker Divine Trait, attacks against poison and blinded enemies deal an additional 2 damage, reduce that damage buff from 2 to 1. Now these are a lot of Loki changes. I still think he's going to need a little more work. He's not going to be as broken as he was obviously on release. All characters on release in my opinion should be broken. If they're not, then it's not fun, you know what I mean? But yes, I'm expecting a lot more changes to come for Loki. His main thing is going to be his knockback potential with his combos. Other than that, I think this is going to balance him off a lot and make him a lot more easy to play against for those new players. Next up we have Saul. Saul's getting a little buff. So Saul receives small quantities of life changes in this patch. We increased the potency of her healing potential and build after the changes applied in the last patch. Also, Dissipate's animation was not perfectly synced with the start of the movement. Increased the number of pools created by the floor of lava from 4 to 6, reduced the length of pre-fire animation by 2 frames. These are changes that they keep going back and forth on. Next up we have Sun Wukong. We continue to hear your feedback about Sun Wukong and we want to provide a subtle way to recognize the clone, in combo with the last patch where they reduced the clone's damage by 30%. To allow high-skilled players to recognize it. Next to this, the precise momentum blessing was the only blessing without the god name in the title. We wanted to avoid that kind of inconsistency. And lastly, we updated the monkey see monkey do talent to reduce its overall power. From now on, the clone plays specific gameplay cues when is hit by the opponent, and when he hits an opponent, the gameplay cues are slightly adjusted different, requiring attention to be recognized. So if you're a very high skill player, or like me, where you pay attention to everything the players do, your enemy player, you're going to be able to distinguish which one of these two are the clones. The talent name of Precise Momentum has been updated to Sun Wukong's Momentum to avoid naming inconsistency. This next one is actually a big change. The Monkey See Monkey Do talent has been updated to Monkey See, and now the clone can just use Magical Cudgel. It can no longer use Dashing Strikes. This is actually a massive change and a nerf in his power, but at the same time, it makes it easier for a lot of people to fight against Sun Wukong, because if you're not really skilled at fighting the monkey, it can be overwhelming. So next up here, we have Susanoo. It's been a long time since I heard that name in Divine Knockout. Our team has been hard at work designing a new talent to replace the Wind Runner minor trait, since it is too strong and leads to an unbalanced power spike in aerial playstyles, which is very agreeable. Anybody who plays Susanoo or plays against Susanoo knows his aerial attacks are crazy. Helicopter. Now his talents. Wind Runner replaced by the new talent Windstorm. Attacks against enemies trapped by the Swirling Tempest now deal an additional 2 damage and 20% knockback, up to 6 damage per attack. That's actually pretty good, and maybe it'll make a difference in Susanoo's gameplay. We're going to find out when this patch gets released. Next up here, we have map updates. So buff pads have been added to the following maps for Divine Knockout modes: Spinning Spikes, Sinking Swamp, Rockslide Ridge, Spellbound Study, and Spirit Shrine. And for Mystic Mayhem, Merlin's statue has less intrusive invisible collision around it. Big pillar structures now have even more form-accurate collisions. This should now allow crater decals to sometimes not be visible. And with every patch, there's tons of bug fixes. I'll leave the patch notes in the description down below for you guys to literally click it and read it for yourself, but there's one particular one that I wanted to talk about. Character select now defaults highlighting your favorite god. That will be the god as your default, no longer having it just be Amaterasu, which is pretty nice. I don't like sometimes when I'm away from queue just for a couple extra seconds to get a drink or something, and then all of a sudden I'm playing Amaterasu and I'm like, oh no, that's not good. Okay guys, that's it with this patch. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you really think about this, how you feel about these changes, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!